What up, S fam? Mr. Boy Drill Sergeant Lynch back again with another video. Hey man, so I know that this video is well overdue. I'm looking back at my videos and I see that I did a things that I hate about being a drill sergeant part 1. I did that 5 months ago. I was supposed to do a part 2 for y'all or something, because you know there's a lot more things that I don't like being a drill sergeant, but there's also them things that I freaking love about being a drill sergeant, and that's what I want to talk to y'all about today. Things that I love about being a drill sergeant. So let me break it down to y'all, man. One thing that I love the most about being a drill sergeant, I think, besides being a drill sergeant in itself, is day 0. Shark attack, red phase.
Let's go! Hold your line out! Let's go! Hold up! Get back over there!
I don't know what it is about building up that anticipation for the day, but red phase, day 0 is probably one of my most favorite days, because I get to scream at the top of my lungs. I get to just freaking yell. I don't really get to go crazy, but it's just one of them things about red phase and day 0 that I just freaking love, man. Getting on these freaking trainees in their face, that surprise tactic. They don't even freaking know what's going on. I don't know. It's crazy because it's kind of nervous at the same time, but it's so much fun to me. I don't know what it is. Next thing that I love about being a drill sergeant the most is phasing over. So y'all know in basic training, you got red phase, which was the first 3 weeks. White phase was the next 3 weeks, and then blue phase was the next 3 to 4 weeks, or whatever the case may be. However y'all decide to slice it. Really, red phase is 3 weeks, white phase is 3 weeks, and then blue phase is on out for the rest of the time in basic training. It's always good to see that you trained up these trainees, and every time y'all get done with to me, I like to think of it of a major event. The ending to a major event is them phasing over. They should be getting a little bit more mature at this time. Plus, going from red phase to white phase, you don't have to march them here to there. Like whenever they go to religious services, whenever they gotta go somewhere within our battalion footprint, except for the dining facility. We always march them to the dining facility, but if we have to send them to like the liaison or something like that, we'll just send them. They can go to sit call by themselves. They can go to athletic trainer by themselves. We don't have to take them over there in the vehicles anymore. So, good thing about phasing over, once you go from red phase to white phase, which is my other favorite thing to do, is calling cadences.
Yo! I'm a jackhammer, baby! And I'm hammering down the line!
I love calling cadences. That is my time to shine. That is my time to get my groove on in a professional manner in front of the trainees. It's my time to get out a lot of motivation, maybe even some stress that I got. I can freaking scream, get the stress off my shoulders. But it also gives the trainees a chance to be motivated and to show, just to show that they have that spirit of what they're actually getting into for the time being. I got my favorite cadences that I love to freaking call, but I like to have a wide range of cadences, because you get some drill sergeants who they stick to like the same cadences or whatever, and maybe that's not their thing to call cadences. That's fine. I like to call cadences. That's my thing. I don't know, and I hope the trainees appreciate my cadences too. So I don't know, man. I love calling cadences because it brings back that old feeling of when I was in basic training and when my drill sergeants were calling cadences. All I'm doing is calling all my favorite cadences that my drill sergeants ever did. And sometimes I forget them because I probably got like 7 or 8 of my favorite cadences that my drill sergeants used to do. And then I probably have, maybe 3 or 4 newer ones that I just learned within this last year or so that are my favorite that I call all the time. Love calling cadences. Another thing that I love. So, and I just talked about this, the drill sergeant impressions. It is so hard. Whenever you have the drill sergeant impressions, y'all are in blue phase, everything's downhill from here. The trainees are on their way out. When they do the drill sergeant impressions, it's their time for them to kind of let their hair down. You get to see, I don't necessarily want to say who they favor as far as drill sergeants, because to me that doesn't matter. I don't care if I'm their favorite or not. I just want to be a good drill sergeant. But to know that I'm making a good impression on them, something that they're never going to forget, I think that's where the impressions come from. If they do an impression of you, I don't think they're ever going to freaking forget you. So I think that's what feels so good about it. But some of them are so spot on and they're so funny, it's freaking crazy. I'm telling you, last night when they did their impressions, I had to put my freaking hat down like this while they're all sitting in front of me, and all I could do was just hold my hand right here by my eyes as the tears from laughing so much was welling up, and I just had to sit here and wipe them like that because they were so freaking funny, man. And it's hard for me to keep my military bearing, especially when they're being so funny. Another thing I love about being a drill sergeant while being on the trail, when we have cycle break or cycle reset, as most of y'all call it. So y'all be surprised, some drill sergeants, some of them don't get no break. I know back in the day, some of them didn't get no breaks, and I think it depends on what post you're at and all that. I don't really know, but you might have a cycle and then a week after your cycle is done, and sometimes even shortest. I've heard of 4 days from one cycle to another cycle. That's a very small amount of time for a drill sergeant to have to reset everything in their office, get all their paperwork together just to get settled to receive some new trainees. Maybe you want to make your war bay look a little bit better and hang up some freaking pictures of PRT or something like that. Maybe you want to hang up some pictures of tactics or posters of the M16 that's broken down or M4 that's broken down, all components of the M16. Maybe there's just different stuff you want to do. When you don't have enough time, it is hard to get all that stuff done. Plus, on top of that, in order to get ready, you're probably still working the same hours of red phase. You might be working from freaking, I don't know, 06 until freaking 1700 or something, 1800, just resetting because you don't have enough time. So I know that when it comes time for us to have a cycle break or a cycle reset, and especially when it's a little bit of a lengthy, not too lengthy, a month is long enough for me. Anything over a month is probably a little too much for me. I start losing my drill sergeant power, if you will. I don't know. I start feeling like I'm like not a drill sergeant anymore because I'm not in the barracks and I'm not yelling at and correcting any trainees on any deficiencies. Okay, and the last thing I'm gonna talk about today that I love about being a drill sergeant, which I just love about the Army period, is PT. I don't know what it is about Army PT. I just freaking love it. It's motivating. I think I used to hate getting started, and I think, you know, just forming that extended rectangular formation, I think that's what I hated the most. But once, especially when we have run days, when we run, it don't matter if we call in cadences or not, just running in general for Army PT just makes me feel freaking good, man. I don't know what it is about it. And a lot of people might tell you that Army PT doesn't work. I don't know. I'm a little guy, but for me, all I do is Army PT. I really don't do anything extra at all. I know I have a high metabolism, but I just make sure when I'm doing PT that I do it specific to freaking standard. I just do it to standard and I put 100% into it. I think if you do Army PT correctly and if you put some freaking motivation and some effort into it, I think that it freaking works. That's just my opinion from a drill sergeant. I don't know about you. I know this ACFT that we got to start taking. That's gonna be a challenge for me, especially that freaking standing when you stand and toss the ball backward. I forget what it's freaking called, but anyway. So yeah, that's about it, S fam. I just want to share with y'all. I know I owed it to y'all for a long time. Things that I love about being a drill sergeant. And I know my last video said things that I hate about being a drill sergeant part 2. So y'all be standing by and be watching. And I'm going to tell y'all more things that I cannot stand about being a drill sergeant. S fam, stand up. Get folks, stay focused and motivated. Get brother. Yo! Drill Sergeant Lynch, I'm out, man.